We got it now, bub.
It's loading right now. All right, take two. Sorry, my bad.
Are you looking for comprehensive solutions for your performance and automotive needs? Straight Line Performance and Automotive is a full-service auto repair shop specializing in race car fabrication, electrical design, chassis setup and alignment. Located in Hamden, Connecticut, they also specialize in aftermarket high performance and chassis upgrades. Be sure to look them up on Facebook at www.facebook.com/straightline, STR8LINE, performance, &automotive, or give them a call at 203-415-5316. Welcome, racers and fans, to the Racers News Network Live, presented by Straight Line Performance and Automotive and Scotty Wheels Racing. Your hosts, Chris and Pete, bring you the latest news and interviews in the world of sportsman drag racing, including bracket racing, association races, outlaw, and no-time events. We are live every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take it away, boys.
All right. Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another great edition of Racers News Network Live. I am on a much better internet connection tonight. I promise you that, after what happened Thursday night when I was at the hotel up at Mount Washington. But we got a lot of awesome stuff to talk about tonight. We have joining us Carly Wolfe. It's her first win this past weekend in the Mid-Atlantic .90 Association. Congratulations. Also joining us, and the gentleman in the black shirt with the glasses, everybody in New England should recognize him. Of course, I'm talking about Ed Iannotti. We're going to be talking top sportsman at New England Dragway and just top sportsman in general. And also Ed's and his family has a huge past in pro mod and in top sportsman. And also joining us is Tim Debaise. Hopefully I pronounced your last name right, Tim.
That's correct.
Awesome.
Got it.
Runs Top Sportsman as well. So we're going to be talking just a little bit of everything. We're going to go from one universe to another. But we want to get to Carly Wolfe. And Pete, go ahead and take it away.
Carly, congratulations.
Thank you.
So which one of the two races did you win? Number 6 or 7?
6 on Saturday.
On Saturday, very nice. How long have you been in Super Street?
So I started in 2019. So this is, I guess, year 2.5.
You got your first win a hell of a lot quicker than I got mine, I'll tell you that.
Thank you.
So tell us about the day. Did everything fall in place? Was it a struggle? Did you have a lucky round or two? How did it go?
So it's funny. I've been telling people, normally my dad and I are pretty good about getting the cards out and reasonably quick. If we have an issue, we usually fix it at the track reasonably quick. And all year, it's just been fighting us. Like, I've hurt my engine on the second pass at Maple Grove for the sign race, and getting parts is like a nightmare. So once I finally got back together, it was battling it out with me. And I said to my dad, I'm like, if we don't get a track rental, we're parking the car for the rest of the year, because I just can't keep going out and just not performing with the car.
Yep.
So luckily we had a track rental this past Monday at Maple Grove, and I took an unprecedented approach. I'm like, I'm hot lapping it 5 times in every 30 minutes in a row, and I'm figuring out what's wrong with this car. So one of our suspicions ended up being it. So I was able to make that fix for the ACO race this past weekend. So we went and we tested on Friday. I just did 3 hits just to shake everything down. It was all good. And went into qualifying, and it went like a 91 on the first pass. So I was pretty happy with that. Went an 87 on the second pass. And I said to my dad, I'm like, I'm not moving the timers, because he leaves that up to me. He's like, it's your call. You're the one driving the car. You set the numbers. So I left it alone from the second pass in qualifying all the way to the final. I did not touch the timer. Only thing I did was some reaction time delay from switching lanes. And I would say every round was kind of a tough one. I mean, I had ones that were closer than others, particularly the final being very close, 5 thou at the stripe.
Ooh,
So
that's
I really thought I lost it in the final, to be completely honest with you. I was like, I just put my head down. I'm like, oh, that was it. I look over and his wind light's not on. And I'm like, there's no way. And I looked back and mine was. And Sean Lanigan gave me a really tough one too. I can't remember if that was fourth round. I think that was fourth round. But it's one of those high mile per hour cars that always kind of throw you for a loop. And being a 3-speed, I'm like, all right, have to make sure I hit all 3 gears before I start turning my head around and looking for them. So it was definitely a neat day.
That's awesome. So you've been doing this for 2.5 years. You got your
Yes.
and let me turn down my phone here because I think I'm getting some feedback. Who you said you raced with your dad, correct?
Yes.
And has he ever raced before, or are you a first generation?
So my dad likes to call me a first generation, because he wasn't a bracket racer. He raced on the front streets of Philly. So back in the 80s, and that was with my mom too. And they got out of it when they had my sister, who was born in 91. So there's quite a gap between her and I, but I only recall going to the racetrack twice, like growing up as a kid.
Yeah.
So it was kind of funny because I grew up watching Pinks. I grew up riding dirt bikes like in my neighborhood. So then I got my Mustang at 17. I'm like, I want to race. And it was not supposed to turn into what it turned into. He's like, my dad always says, he's like, it was just supposed to be Friday nights. It was not supposed to be NHRA. Like, so, but I think he loves it deep down.
Excellent. That's good stuff. For those that don't know, tell us about your combination. What kind of car, power plant, all that good stuff.
So the car was actually Michelle Funk's old car. She used to bracket race in Pro ET at ACO. So it's come quite a long way from when I bought it back in 2016. It's changed a lot. So now it has a 363 8.2 deck small block Ford. So everybody's like, oh, the 9.5. I'm like, no, the A2, because we keep recycling all the parts from when an engine blows up. So it's a 3-speed C4. It's small tire car, 10.5, 28-inch slick. Nothing crazy. It's sponsored by Team Z, so they did my entire suspension for my car, and I swear that's what saved me, because the car got so consistent once we put their suspension on. And like I said, I didn't change the timers from the second time shot, and it's definitely hard to do that with a small tire on a hot track like it was Saturday.
Yeah.
So it's pretty
Awesome.
and it's a Fox body Mustang. Just said that.
So you named one of your sponsors Team Z. Do you have anyone else helping you out?
Windsor Automotive, up in Heightstown. He's been doing my dad's stuff since my dad was on bikes years ago. Ben Pilla, he always helps us out in Belmar. Select gives me a really good converter.
Yep.
Liberty Engine Parts, Rhino Power Sports Supplements. They always come in when I need them, and I'm big on like health and nutrition and fitness. So Rhino Power really helps me out there.
Awesome. Good stuff. And what does the rest of your year look like as far as schedule?
So we're looking at New England this coming weekend, and then 2 weeks at Maple Grove, and then I'm trying to figure out what to do with VMP because I got a new job, so it kind of makes things a little tricky with the new job.
Yep.
But we're gonna try to make all those division races and clean up a couple of the tricky ones from the beginning of the year. But I'm definitely gonna finish out the season with Massa as long as the car permits me to.
Awesome. Well, listen, it was great having you on. And every time you win, we're going to call you back. So hopefully you'll be getting tired of us.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
Great job on Saturday. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Carly.
Thank you.
Hopefully I'll be bugging you again soon, because I messaged you the other night and I said, when you win, you are coming on to do a winner interview. You know that, right? She's like, yes, I do.
Not a problem. I love it. It makes me feel important. So thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Congratulations again on your first win in the .90 series. And here's to many, many more this year.
Thank you.
And we'll see you at New England on Friday.
Yes, New England on Friday.
All right.
Bye.
Take care.
All right. Carly Wolfe, everybody. So going from a first-time winner to, again, a gentleman in the black shirt with the glasses, Ed Iannotti, who has a long history in the pro mod and top sportsman world up here in the Northeast. And one of his competitors is joining us as well again, Tim Debaise. Welcome, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
You're very welcome. So Ed, obviously your name is very well known, both you and your brother, again in pro mod, top sportsman. Let's start with the obvious. How did all getting involved in those crazy ass cars come about?
Well, I used to race at Connecticut Dragway for years, and my first semi-real race car was an old demodified production 69 Camaro. I'm sorry, 69 Nova that this guy, it was called Raspberry and Pies. It was a black Nova with a small block. And he lived up the street from me and he decided he wanted to sell it. So I had raced street cars previously. So that was my first semi-race car. So we bought it and I'd go to Connecticut all the time. And one day my brother, who was more athletic than I am, came and watched and he says, "Oh, that looks pretty easy. I want to do it." So he made a couple laps and he was hooked. So then the year after, he says, "We need to buy a tube car." So we bought a 85 IROC tube car. And sad to say, that was the year Connecticut closed. So we never ran it at Connecticut. We started going to New England, which is the first time I ever went to New England Dragway, 1985. So we go up there in our first, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, the hood kept flying off the car. I mean, we were a circus. We were terrible. So we finally figured it out. And Ronnie's making laps and we're running super comp. And one night he broke out. He got so aggravated. He took his helmet, threw it in the woods. And he says, "I will never come back racing again unless whoever gets there first wins." I says, "What are you, crazy? Why are we going to do that? You can't afford that." "Oh no, we're going to do it." Okay. So we get some sponsors, and at the time it was 1990. We had built a Don Ness Beretta that, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Kenny Weber from Pawcatuck. He had finished it. We bought a Ness car and he finished it for us. So we started running that. And at the time, there was no such thing as Pro Modified. It was called Top Sportsman. I don't know if you guys know that. So we're at ADCO at a national event, and they have a meeting. And they said, "We want to make a professional class for Top Sportsman. We got to come up with a name." So here's the meeting now. Picture this. There's Scotty Cannon there, Rob Vandergriff, Ed Hoover, Norman Estes, all the heavy hitters back in the day. And they come up with this name. We're going to call it Pro Modified. So that's how it started. And that was in 1991. The original Top Sportsman became Pro Modified. Then
So
they kept
Ed,
Top Sportsman.
was
Yes.
that an IHRA or NHRA event?
IHRA. NHRA had no idea.
Right, because I thought Pro Modified came from IHRA.
IHRA, correct.
Wow, that's very
But New England had a TS program. It was top. No, it was just top. That's
Top.
what it was. It was just top. You remember that?
yes.
So yeah, this was IHRA. So we did that for quite a while with the Beretta. It was blown. Then we changed it to nitrous. Then we went back to blown. Then we were working for Super Chevy. We did a bunch of Super Chevy shows with that car. And then they brought in the nitro stuff. You remember when they made Coleman and those guys, they want you to run nitro?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Remember that? And we had to stop because you can't afford it,
Right.
you know. And then I got the Beretta, and Ronnie built a new Corvette, and that's the car that we still have. And we ran that for a while. He ran with the Corvette. He won the Super Slammer program, which was a deal between Lebanon Valley and New England, and a couple at Oxford Plains. And we ran that, and we ran really, really well. I mean, we did well. And it was Pat Doherty was in that,
Yep.
Steve Salvador, Even Peter Faber, you remember Pete Faber who had he
No,
didn't have a pickup truck. Well, long story short, about 7-8 years ago, he built a Superbird, and he went
Okay.
to fives with that car. I haven't seen him around lately, but it was him, John Russo, Pat Doherty. I think I said that.
Yeah.
There was about Mike Ashley used to run with us.
Yep.
There was a bunch of us. So we did that deal, and then to make ends meet, we had to do a lot of shows. So we would go to Englishtown on Wednesday nights.
Yep.
Sometimes we do Atco on a Tuesday night. We do Englishtown on a Wednesday night. We do Lebanon Valley on a Friday
On
night.
Friday night, I remember
Right.
those.
And then Saturday night, we do New England.
Wow.
4 in a row in 1 week. And back then, that's when people really were into it. At Englishtown, there'd be 30,000 fans. My brother said he used to do a burnout. You could hear the people screaming, but we had
Wow.
the show. My sister-in-law was backing him up, and it was a show. It was like a show. Then we built the Willies, and we got hooked up with Mohegan Sun. And then they decided in 07 they're done. They didn't want to sponsor anymore, and that's when we parked everything. So that's my whole deal. Now the Top Sportsman stuff is what I like to do. I like to stay local because honestly, Top Sportsman is now what Pro Mod was originally. You gotta go, they run the 8 mile, you gotta go in the threes, you gotta go 370 or something.
Right.
It's out of control again. So I try to keep my program. If you don't mind, I want to explain a little bit of my program. Is that
We'd
okay?
love to have it. Yep.
Okay. My rules are a little different. Safety wise, you got a NHRA safety. You have to do that. But I allow cars in the quarter mile to go 8:49. They can run as slow as 8:49,
Okay.
not 7:99.
I was gonna say 799 is the cutoff, right?
Right. But we try to draw more cars, which the last few weeks it's been working, but up until then, nobody came. But anyways, So we do that. And I also allow, which has been from day one, we allow like the topless Corvettes and stuff, because the hook, the hook,
Yes.
Bill Waters. Remember
Yep.
that car he had years ago?
Yes.
Well, when my friend Ryan Andrico and John from John's Racecraft,
Yep.
they originally started this whole deal,
Okay.
2008. So they used to allow the hook to run with us. So I just continued that.
Sure.
And so John ran the program probably, 3 or 4 years. And then he lost his sponsorship and stuff. So we got out of it. And Harry Gray, Jr. and Senior,
Yeah.
became HG Construction Top Sportsman. I ran it for him, but it was their deal.
Right.
And they did it for, maybe 3-4 years, and then they stopped. So I didn't want to lose the program, so we took it over. And it, it works out well for a guy that has to work, like Tim or myself. Years ago, my parents used to cover everything for me, and I'd take off and go all these divisionals.
Right. Right.
I haven't been to a divisional since 2007.
Wow.
Yep, I'm just done because it's just too time consuming, and
Right.
it's expensive, So I try to do this to make, guys like on a weekend, they can come enjoy themselves. We got a great group of guys. I met Tim the beginning of the year, and he's a nice, very nice guy. I mean, I was surprised he come over to me, and he says, "Oh, I want to run with you guys this year." And we're gradually getting better. Wouldn't you say, Tim?
Oh yeah, yeah. So
I met Tim about 15 minutes ago, and we live near each other. So.
Oh, okay.
I've known you for a long time, Pete. I think you know. I tell you, I'd like to get some sponsors like Carly has.
Hey, Tim, could you adjust your microphone because we're having trouble hearing you?
What do I gotta do?
I don't know.
Hold on,
Sit a
let me
little
get my daughter.
closer.
Hold on.
Gotta get help.
So,
Technical assistance, yeah.
do
Gotta
you
get the
have
brains of the operation.
any other difference in rules besides the 849 in the Roadsters?
No.
That's about it.
Well, qualifying. Because
Okay.
it's the same core guys.
Yep.
We used to qualify by ET, always. Same guy would always be number one qualifier.
Sure.
So what I do to mix it up now is when we do it, if it's a Saturday and Sunday weekend, two separate races. Every day is a race. It's
Okay.
not like, okay. We try to do a lot of them where they're back to back.
Right.
Okay, because we try to get 11 races in, and if you're in the points program, you count 10 of them.
Right.
Okay, and I'll get into that in a minute. So what I do is on Saturdays, it's by reaction time qualifying.
Sure.
Sunday is by ET.
Okay.
So
So you switch it up.
it just because you have to, because
Right.
you know it's the same guys that go fast. So that is another rule. And other than that, basically, that's about it. Our lane choice deal is wherever you qualify at the beginning of the day, you know,
Yeah.
at the end of qualifying, if you're still in, you got lane choice if you're the higher guy.
So the higher qualified of the pair gets lane choice.
Yes. Otherwise, you got to see who did it last time. I try to make it simple, you know.
And that's good because the way you do it with switching it up with reaction time, everyone has a shot at being at the top of the ladder.
Exactly. And then as far as pricing and purses, I have a points program that the track has nothing to do with this whole series.
Yeah.
All they do is they collect $40 at the gate for us to be able to use the facility. That's all you pay them.
Yeah.
Then you come over to my trail at the beginning of the day. If you want to join points, you have to join at the beginning of the year, you know, so you got a better shot, but it's $100 for the whole year.
Right.
Okay. We guarantee 1,500 for the winner of the point series, 1,000 to second place, and 500 to third place. So it's a pretty good deal. Okay.
Sure.
So it's 100 for the whole year. But then race days, it's 100 every race. So if it's going to cost you $140. Okay. But how that works is it's no extra if you're not in points. You still pay that.
Oh, nice.
Okay. But say, just for the sake of making it simple, if there's 10 cars,
Yep.
that's $1,000 total.
Right.
We always take 200 off the top to throw in the points fund.
Sure.
We got to come up with and then the winner will get 50%.
Yeah.
So if there's only 10 cars, the winner's going to get 400.
Right.
Runner up gets 30%, and then the two semi guys get 10% each. But now with this new system, I'm guaranteeing 1,000 to win,
Nice.
no matter what, so it works out like that. So, I mean, last weekend, I think it was a 4-round race, and Wayne won 1,000, and I think me and Eric got beat in the finals, and I think I got $600 or something, which, 4-round race in Europe.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing. So we're trying to, like I said, next year, this year we've had a lot of help. We got help from Harry Gray, his construction. We got help from Rosemar Construction, which is my team car. He gave us a lot of money so we can continue this $1,000 to go, at least 1,000 to win. And Dan Christopher, who owns New Hampshire Undercar.
Yeah, Southern New Hampshire Undercar.
Yes.
Yep.
He's helped us, and actually he said he's going to give us $500 every race for the rest of the season, which is really nice. And then also the Monroes, the TSR transmission,
Oh, yeah.
they gave us a $500 thing. So, and what I do, like I said, it's guaranteed 1,000, but say if someone gives us the 5, that goes right in
Sure.
over and above. So the other guys get more money too.
Excellent.
It's been working out good, and the people up at the track are really nice to us. They help us. The places, I don't know how often you don't go up there that much, do you, Pete? Or
I usually like at least twice a year.
are you going
Not as often as I should, but yeah.
to go this year, this weekend, or no?
I am not going this weekend because school is starting up. So I am committing myself to the rest of the super street races at Lebanon Valley. But that's about it for me. If I was doing something in the points divisionally, I would go. But divisionally, I haven't had a good year at all, so I'm just going to concentrate on the local stuff for me.
And if you don't mind,
Yep.
Tim, why don't you talk a little bit about your program and then getting involved with the Top Sportsman Series?
Yeah, okay, so getting back to Kenny Weber, I think I had a 70 Camaro that was built by him back in the day. A friend of mine built it for some, I don't know, kind of crazy class, and he by the time he got done with it, that class was outdated. So I bought the car turnkey, realized it was kind of heavy. So I took the motor out, had a 615 cubic inch motor, took the motor and transmission out. And I don't know if anybody knows, but my late cousin Rob Slavinsky that just passed away, I have his old car.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I still got it. It's sitting on my lift.
The Cutlass?
It's the
Was it-
no. I got a couple Top Sportsman cars, Ed.
I
Because
didn't know that.
The Cutlass, I just bought that Cutlass. Hi, Jerron. How are you?
How are you? You got Rob's Grand Am or the
I got Rob's, no, his Grand Prix.
Grand Prix? Wow, okay.
Yeah, the purple car. Yeah, it's actually still purple.
The
I
super
did really
clean.
good with that car in Top Sportsman. So I don't know when Pontiac stopped making the Grand Prix. I don't know, it was like 2000 or 2001. So
The
somewhere
Grand-
around there.
The Grand Prix, yeah, 2002, I think.
Yeah. So I met my cousin Rob at Tommy Martino's shop in New Jersey. My cousin Rob had to upgrade to a newer, so he bought Tommy Martino's Grand Am Pro Stock, and I bought his Grand Prix. And I ran in Top Sportsman for a good number of years, and I was pretty good at it. And then we stopped for a while. We stopped racing for a while, and my daughter races a super comp, or not a super comp, a super pro dragster. And we normally used to race up in Lebanon Valley for years. We were always up there. And Lebanon Valley doesn't have a Top Sportsman series. So I decided, I said to my daughter at the beginning of the year, I says, we're going to race at Epping. She's like, we are? So that's where I met Ed. And I've seen him, and I've heard a lot about him, and it's an awesome program. So I said, yeah, we're going to go to a race. And I bought this Oldsmobile Cutlass from a guy out of Florida last year, and it's a dead consistent car. The only time I'm getting beat is driver error.
We all know that feeling.
Yeah.
Now, I heard a rumor that there might be another car coming out of that.
Yeah, I got a pretty killer GTO. It's actually Mark Powick's old car in like 2006.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's got a big cubic inch motor in it. Everybody's telling me, you gotta take it out. You gotta take it out.
Oh, my daughter wants a ride. She wants to drive one of them babies.
Yeah, I know. My daughter's bugging me. She wants to drive this Cutlass.
Yeah.
It can probably be the car for her to drive because it's an automatic. My cousin Rob's car, it's a Bruno Nolenko, and it's air shifted. You actually got to push the button to shift. After you do the burnout, you got to hit the switch to let the air pods drain out to get into the lower gear. So it's involved to drive. But I'll tell you, that's a good car too. That car held the record of B-Alter automatic for quite a few years with a Larry Morgan motor in it.
Yep.
So that car has been like all over, like probably every track in the country. And what is it doing? It's sitting up on my lift in my shop.
Was that the Castro car? Was that the
Yeah.
Castro one?
That's the super
still,
clean car.
it's still purple. It's still got all the stripes,
Okay. Yeah.
all the different color stripes. I had to like take the decals, all the different products that Castro made was in all the yellow, and all the different stripes. So I had to get rid of all that, but that's a good car. So sometime last year, I bought two Top Sportsman cars. I bought this Oldsmobile Cutlass, and I never thought it was going to be what it is. Like the car's killer. And I love this program up there because, as Ed was saying, if there's 2 days of racing, the Top Sportsman, we have Saturday, we have 2 qualifying runs and go right into eliminations. And not to talk about anything with NHRA, it's great, but you go to a national event, if you get beat in the first round, you're going to be there 4 days to go three times down the track, So this program is really good. another thing I like, and I never really thought I liked racing 8th mile. I think it's good, you know. I've raced 8th mile once at Maple Grove at a divisional race about 12 years ago in Rod's old car, and it got so windy they cut all the fast cars down to 8th mile. My God, by the time I shifted into 3rd gear and looked up, ain't my wind light on. So you know, Ed's trying to get some cars from down south, maybe from some of these PDRA cars, because they mostly race 8th mile down there.
So I came in kind of late. What track are you guys running at? And it's the 8th mile Top Sportsman Series?
Yeah, well, it's usually quarter mile, but we're talking about in Epping, New Hampshire, with Ed Iannotti's
Okay.
program.
We
he
mix
has
it up.
there.
We originally we planned on mixing like quarter mile with 8th, but all
Sure.
my guys now like 8th, so we just keep running the 8th.
I like you guys. I like your guys.
Easier on pots too.
It's a lot easier on parts.
Is it really?
Yeah, you don't go half the track, right? I
All
feel.
all the hard work's done by that point.
Well, yeah, I know. And Epping has a real long shutdown area. So, I mean, my car, I don't know, I think I run 156, 157 in the 8th, and I can stop without pulling the parachute
That's nice. too.
easily. I think most guys are like that, right?
Do you ever ask the guys like what they prefer? I mean, obviously you went to the 8th because of feedback you're getting from other competitors.
Yeah, and we took a vote at the beginning of the year. Our plan was, because we do have some PDR races. There's 4 or 5 core guys that go, Maloney, Donnie Priest, there's a few of them, Dennis Gabriel. So what our plan originally was, because Eric and I run it, try to get everything in perspective here with the program. So what we were doing was, like, if it was a weekend before PDRA, we would run 8th.
Yep.
Then if it was a weekend before an NHRA divisional, we would run quarter.
Sure.
Like Atco got canceled and all that. So a lot of these guys were coming to me and saying, you know what? I like 8th. Let's just run 8th. So, okay. So that's what we're doing. And actually, you don't use as much nitrous,
Right.
you know, and it's just, I just think it's crazy racing. It really is. People don't get it. I mean, 8th mile's boring. Trust me, it's not boring.
No, I mean, it's you get all the sensation. I mean, I would never want to do a breakout class 8th mile, because to me, it's just over too quick. Again, you get bracket racers and competitors that run 8th mile, and they'll tell me I'm crazy. But with the heads up stuff, yeah, I could see it. I mean, it's, pretty much after the 8th mile, you're along for a ride anyway. So
yeah, some of these guys are going 180, 170 in the 8th. I mean,
fine.
when we ran, quick story, I'm going to tell you this quick. This is a funny one. Drag stock, the first drag stock ever, which was what was that? ADRL, I think it was called.
Yeah,
Still around somewhat, right? They had it in
Rockingham.
Carolina Dragway, House of Hook, the first one ever. In Jackson, what is that? Jackson, North Carolina, I think?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Okay, the first one, I'll never forget. It was 8th mile, invitation only. There was 60 pro mods there. We get there. We have a meeting. I think Jeff Miles ran the track, I think.
Yeah.
He comes over to us. He says, all right, guys, here's the rules. What? You can go off the track into the grass. You can come back on the track. If you hit the wall, you're out. I went, what? Oh, yeah. Yeah. No kidding. I said, oh, okay. Mike Ashley's there. And back then, this is way back. He says, the first guy to go 399 in the 8th, I'm giving $5,000. Those guys were blowing motors up like crazy. And one of them went 399. I'll never forget it. It was midnight. There was about 300 people on the starting line. And Scotty Cannon standing there. He's got his red cup. I don't know what the hell he was drinking, but it didn't matter. It was midnight.
Whatever he wanted.
Somebody goes to start up his fuel lines if one of the blower cars is leaking. He takes the cup, puts it on the blower, tightens up the guy's hose, picks his cup up, Guy does the burnout, makes the pass, he goes 399.
Wow.
Got the $5,000. Oh, yeah. But it was hilarious. The grass is still in bounds. The
That's a
wall,
five-
you're out of bounds.
That's a $5,000 drink right there on top
Oh
of
yeah,
the bar.
oh yeah. 8th mile, and those guys, they were going 190 in the 8th, all over the place. Oh,
Wow.
crazy, crazy. But
Very
that's what they do. They love that. They love that 8th mile stuff. So
good stuff.
Now,
Well, listen,
there-
the
we
reason,
know that
the reason,
there's-
go
Go
ahead.
ahead,
Chris.
Pete. No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the reason why you guys are on, is because, Tim reached out to me a couple weeks ago and wanted to put the spotlight on your series. So, I don't know if you discussed, I can't remember what we discussed before we went live or not, but you have, 11 races for the year.
correct.
You count 10 of them.
If you're in the points, yes.
If you're in the points,
And-
right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
count 10 of them, and all the races are at New England Dragway.
correct.
And how many years have you been doing this?
Well, the series started in 08, like I said, with John's Racecraft.
Yep.
I've been running it. I ran it for Harry Gray, and I've been running it probably 4 or 5 years for myself. I probably I've been involved since they started, but physically running it, it's got to be, I don't know, probably 7, 8 years at least.
Nice. And the rest, how many races have you run so far this year?
We rained out 2. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, Tim. We got, to make it simple, we have Labor Day weekend, we got a Saturday and Sunday race. And then September 11th to Saturday, we have another race. So we got 3 left. So we lost 2. So we probably have had 5 or 6 or so.
Now, if you don't hit the 11 races for the year, do you still throw one out?
No,
You
you
don't.
just count them all.
So you count whatever you run, and if you go over 10, then you can throw one away.
Yeah. As of right now, there's nothing to throw away because we had the 2 rain.
Right.
So, yeah, and it's very, very tight right now. Harry Gray's leading. And then Wayne Horton, he just joined the points. He won 2 races in a row. So he's
Wow.
like in 4th. I think we're in 5th because we missed a couple races. I couldn't go, and Eric won't run the car unless I'm there. So I was in the hospital for a week. So
Yeah.
Tim's up there. I think, Tim, what are you, 2nd or 3rd?
I think I'm 3rd. Dan Christopher.
Dan Hill's 2nd. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Harry, Dan, then you.
Yeah.
It's tight, but it's tight.
Dude,
It's going to be
he just-
interesting.
He just leaned back like, yeah, I'm in 3rd now, but watch
Yeah,
out.
watch out.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Tough.
a
It's
series.
tough.
So,
Tough.
his driver Ed got out of the car after 2nd round that last race. So the guys that were in 1st and 2nd, I think they went out in the 1st round, and I was still in. I won the 1st round, and Eric got out of the car. He drives one of Eddie's cars. He got out. He says, "Now's your chance, Tim." I didn't know that he hit. I guess Harry went red. So I guess he jinxed me. He said, "Now's your chance," right? So 2nd round of eliminations, who do I have? But I have Eric, right?
You went red, didn't you?
I went, yeah. So we went down the return road. He says, "Man," he said, "you weren't supposed to do that." I says, "It couldn't have been red by much." I says, "If it was more than 10, I'd be shocked." I get my time slip 006 red. But I don't know exactly how Eric messaged me about the points. I don't know if it's like 10 or 11 round or 10 or 11 points each round.
Yeah. Remember you asked me, I said you could ask him. He uses whatever the divisional point system is.
Right.
He goes by that.
Because what happened with me years ago is I was given 10 points for everything I was doing it myself. We
Right.
ended up with a 3-way tie
Hi. Yep.
with 3 guys that are on the same team, that TT Motorsports.
Right.
So I says, guys, you got to run this off. They kept putting it off and off and off. So there was no champ. It was
Just
3 of them.
died. Yeah.
We gave them one
I
trophy. It said
believe-
TT.
I believe the divisionals are 10 for showing up, 20 for round 1, 30 for round 2. Then they start adding one on. Then
Right.
it starts going like 41, 52, 63, something. something along, just to give some little numbers so that it could
Yeah.
break up the situation like what you had.
So tie, yeah. So it'll be interesting.
If that's the case, I would have been definitely in second place if I didn't go 006 red. Like I said before earlier in the show, anytime I'm getting beat, it's driver error, you know?
Well, that's basically
Yeah,
everybody.
You try to push it, you know, but it is what it is.
Drag racing is who makes the least mistakes wins.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
So
Ed,
Ed, what's the dominant power adder in your series? Like the nitrous, pro charger, blown car.
In my series, there's no pro charger cars. No, there aren't. There's none. Got a couple blower cars, but mostly nitrous or just big inch motors. Dennis has got
turbo.
what's he got? A twin turbo.
Yeah, he's got a twin turbo. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's about it. That most of the guys are nitrous. So
That was he had the fastest car up there 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
He was running what 419 in the 8th.
yeah, he went 415 the next week. Yeah,
Yeah, it's fast. It's fast.
but it's tough. It's not consistent.
Right.
Gets
you've
down, you don't
also
get
had-
down.
You've also had quite the string of drivers too. People have even just gotten licensed in your cars. Is that correct?
Myself? Oh yeah. Yeah, I've had let me see, I drove my own for I don't know, 10, 12 years. Then I had Jessica Willard who drove the jet car.
Queen of Diamonds, right?
Yeah. And then I had Eric a long time ago. Eric got fired. You could ask Eric that story. He got fired. I threw him out. That's a good story though. We can't talk about it on here. Then I had Val DiGenova for quite a while. Larry Willard. Eddie Alessi drove my car a couple times.
Really?
Yeah. Mickey
Yeah,
Smalley
Senior or junior?
Jr.
Really?
Little Ed. Oh yeah. Joe Hoyle, I don't know if you know him. Joe drove. Mike Sawyer drove my car.
Wow.
I'm probably missing a few. My brother drove it, of course. It was his car.
Are there any like you have to be this tall to ride this ride? Anyone 5'5" in there or what?
Yeah, you can get in there. I used to get young kids. Young kids would give me their itinerary, and their resumes. They wanted to get a ride because they knew what we had a joke. We had like revolving stickers for people's names on the car because they go off and on.
Make them magnetic, yeah.
Now here's a blast from the past. Jay White.
Oh
Remember
my
Jay
God.
White? Jay White, we used to call him Houdini because we didn't know if he'd show up or not.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That's funny.
Dennis Fitz. Remember Dennis Fitz?
Yep.
He used to drive for me years ago.
That's Mike's brother. If I'm
Mike's
not
brother.
mistaken.
Yeah, he's
Right.
down in Chicago. He's driven for me. I'm sure I'm missing a few. I'm sure.
I'd be happy if you just let me sit in the car. I don't even need to drive it.
No problem.
So,
Come on over.
He wouldn't be able to reach the pedals, Ed.
That's right. I'll let you put me in the car. I'll figure out how to reach the pedals. Don't you worry about
Put a
that.
block of wood on there.
Yeah, that's right. I'll figure it out.
So Eddie, I got a question. The Iannotti name's been pretty famous for having beautiful cars over the years. And I think you said your brother. I know years ago there was an Iannotti. I don't know if it's Ron or that had. That's your brother had the Black Widow Willis years ago, and
Yeah, that's the car I race now.
oh, that car. Okay,
Yeah.
I got it. So is your brother still involved in racing? Or?
No, his wife won't let him do it anymore. He said he's getting too old. She said
I got you.
he was more well known for his wife being the backup girl at the racetrack. All right, I knew you wanted to say that, so I'll say
That was going to be Gerard's next question,
yeah.
so you knew.
When we used to race IHRA, true story, we'd get to the gate. They would not say to me, "How are you? How you doing? Where's your brother?" You know what they'd say? Where's Tony?
Where's
They
Tony?
could care less if there was a car in the trailer.
I had an autographed picture of Tony on my body shop wall for about 10 years.
That's right.
With
That's
the
right.
with the black Beretta, right, Geron?
No, it
No,
was pink. Was it pink or
Yeah, it
did
was
you have the
pink.
Corvette?
The Corvette.
Corvette.
Because I used to do a lot of the ISCA car shows, and so I got to know Ron and Tony pretty well doing the car
Willys.
shows. Yep.
Now, what is
yep.
your name? These guys didn't introduce you.
I
Oh,
know
right.
I know I came on late, but they were just like, yeah, he's some guy. I'm
Yeah.
Gerard. I know
This is the flying airbrush.
I'm the flying airbrush. I
Yeah.
do custom paint work. I paint like the TNT guys. I paint Nick Maloney's helmets.
Okay, what's
You've
your
seen
name?
my work, Jerron Settles.
Oh,
Imagine
okay.
that.
Yes. Okay.
So,
Yeah. So you must have seen Ronnie at all those World of Wheels deals he was doing.
yeah, I did those for years, and that's how I got to
him
know them.
too.
Yeah.
That's when he was hooked up with Jesse James.
Right,
He was
with
doing
Jesse
all
James.
the T-shirt stuff, and
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell him I seen you.
Yeah,
will
for
tell
sure.
him for sure. Actually, he's going to be at New England this weekend. He's coming. Him and his wife are both coming to the track.
That's cool. That's cool. So you still have the Willis and the Corvette?
Well, we sold the Corvette to a very good friend of his in Long Island.
Okay.
We still get the Willis, and I put a little tiny motor in it, a 606 with one carburetor.
I
And
got you.
I run that. It goes like
Well,
740s.
Just put Pete in the passenger seat, give him a booster seat, and then let him.
How tall are you? What do you like me? 5'5", but I'm 5'5" wide and 5'5" tall.
No, Pete is 3'2" with high heels on and a top hat. He's got a rope ladder for his Vega wagon to get in.
When I get these dogs to stop barking, I'm gonna tell you exactly how I feel about you, Gerard.
Oh, boy.
Gerard, what do you got? What do you got in that paint? Nick's car is pretty fast.
And he's been on a tear this year.
Yeah.
He's been doing a lot. Him and
Didn't he
Ava,
didn't he just win last week somewhere? Or
Yeah.
not last week.
PDRA.
PDRA.
Yeah, but wasn't he at Epping last week?
2 weeks ago, yeah, he was with us.
Okay.
Nick.
He won that, yeah.
So it was last
Yeah.
week.
So this 2 days ago, he won. But yesterday,
Yeah, yesterday.
Saturday.
This past weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually just talked to him this morning because I have Ava's helmet, him and Ava's brand new helmets here now, get ready to do. Ava has changed her mind on what she wants about 3 or 4 times.
I'm looking to pick up a little BET. Maybe you can paint my helmet.
There you go. I'm painting some platform shoes for Pete.
Oh,
He might have them by next year.
Yeah. I'll shrink another 3 inches by the time I get him from this guy.
Oh, that's terrible. That's so untrue.
So Ed, let's talk the future of your series. I mean, we got, a couple of months left. Are you already looking forward to 22?
yes, we are. We're actually, I don't know if this wants to get out or not, but Nick is thinking of staying local. Nick Maloney, he's thinking of staying local and stopping chasing all the stuff with the PDRA. And he and a few businesses are going to try to get together and we can get some more money into pot. So as I was telling Tim before, we're trying to get maybe a $2,000 guarantee next year, every race, which would hopefully get some more guys from Connecticut. I understand New York and stuff. You guys are going to come over the bridge and everything. I don't want to go that way. They
Right,
don't want to come this way. And I
right.
totally understand. But there's some guys in Connecticut that, I don't know. Maybe it'll be incentive.
Listen, I'll give you a guarantee. If you make the limit $9.99, I'll be there.
You're in. Okay. You're in.
Sign me up.
Eddie,
For
let
the
me ask
8th, I'm talking. $9.99 for the 8th. I'll be
In
there.
the 8th. No.
you.
Now, do you have the Vega wagon, that beautifully painted Vega wagon?
It's the Vega wagon, beautifully painted, might be a stretch, but yes, I do.
Pretty kind.
I say that because Ron painted it.
You've had that a long time, haven't you?
Yeah. So when I was in the mid-90s coming up to watch you, I had that same car.
So Eddie, let me ask you, for listeners and people that might be interested, how can they get in touch with you to maybe, throw some money away or sponsor you? Do you guys have a website or?
There's a group page on Facebook. It's Iannotti Brothers Select Cars Top Sportsman.
Okay.
And you can contact me through there, or you can contact me directly on Facebook, or I can send you my phone number. But I mean, even if you do something like paint a helmet or something to the winner or something, anything, we'll take
Well, I
anything.
didn't say I was. No, I'm just kidding. No,
Oh, you're just gonna get some people to
No,
get some. I got you.
we'll talk-
Peter,
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No,
after
but
you
yeah,
do his shoes,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I got you.
we'll put a link on our page and so people can get in touch with you possibly. So
I
that'd be cool.
appreciate that. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure meeting you.
I
Same
can't
here.
lie. I'm trying to figure out how to make my car go 849 so I could join you guys because it sounds like fun.
Little juice, just a little juice. That's all you
Yeah.
need.
Pete, I got
Well,
some
look,
nitrous. Pete,
I
got
need a
some
little
nitrous
wheelbase
valves you
is the
can use.
problem.
How long is it?
Well, 98 inches.
Oh, forget it. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And about a foot and a half wide too.
But Pete, after I got finished with it, should have picked up at least a 10th. I mean, you know.
Yo, my boy Whitey ceramic coated it, so that makes it cut through the air a little quicker too.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah.
Ed, I got a question for you. You were saying 849 is the slowest in the quarter. So what does that convert to the eighth mile? Or probably anybody of those can answer that.
549.
541, I think, isn't it?
541?
Or 44. I think it's 5.
And in IHR it was 549. I thought.
549. I think because I make the rules. I think last week I think I told him it had to be 544 because we kind of went in that Wallace calculating thing, and
I
I
don't
think
think
it came up.
anybody's that slow anyway, though, right?
Well, there was a few
Yeah,
because of that big payout thing. Remember those roadsters and stuff? Yeah.
yeah.
But Mike Sawyer I'm looking at the Corvette, and Mike was running pretty good. He was doing wheel stands and everything.
Yeah.
He went some rounds. Matter of
You know
fact, he won one.
Yeah, I think
Pete's
he did.
bagel will flip over like a Ninja
Oh,
Turtle.
forget it. I would love to be able to race a class like that, but I just don't have the car for it. I'd have to cut the front end off and put another Vega in between it to get it to work right.
Hey, Eddie,
Yeah.
saying that is like me saying, I just don't know how I'm gonna get my helmet painted. You're a chassis builder, Pete. What do
If
you
I
mean
had
you
your
don't
money,
have
I'd be
the
building a car, bro.
What's that?
If I had your money, I'd be building a car.
You own a chassis shop.
Still costs money.
Oh, that's funny.
Fine.
All right, well, I'll sponsor you. I think. Well, okay, so is that Debaise? How do you pronounce it?
Debaise.
There's way too many letters and syllables for it just to be that. Like, no way. There's like 14 letters in that name. So, dude, I've got to design a logo for you. Do you have a T-shirt for your car? Because we got to get you like this on the back of the T-shirt. Like that is, you're like the coolest lean back guy I've ever seen. Like, you do it with such authority. That's got to be the
Subaru in the back though.
Yeah, we've been trying to ignore that the whole episode.
Yeah,
Yeah, Red
We're
Bull.
that's our fearless leader.
Yeah.
We're talking about some real fast door cars. What is it, a Subaru?
Yeah,
exactly.
it's a 2.5. It's all carbon fiber. He reset the record at Mount Washington yesterday. 5 minutes, 28 seconds.
Hey,
of
Chris,
Mount Washington.
you lost us at 2.5.
Yeah. I think my starter's bigger than that in my car.
137 miles an hour was top speed going up the auto road at Mount Washington. I don't know if any of you have ever been up there or not, but
I back up from my burnout faster than that.
I will say,
when you find the reverse switch, though.
yeah, I will say it's impressive that he could concentrate for 5.5 minutes because I don't think I could.
No, for sure. That is
That is pretty good. Yeah.
See, look, there it is again. Look at Debaise, the basic. What is this again? The
Hold on. Do the taste.
Yeah, this is the Tim Debaise. Yes, I am a badass.
Yeah,
That's right.
No.
Number 3, but not for long, baby.
It should say, I'm a badass right across.
Look, wait a minute, that's the new look.
There you go, yeah. All of us. We'll all
When I
do
see
it.
him, this weekend, this is what I'm gonna do.
We're gonna have 5 idiots walking around the track like this.
There you go.
I'll
What's
go
up,
by
bro?
on my little scooter like this.
Hey, NASCAR's on a rail. I don't even.
That'll
gotta
be a
say
trick.
it. No, I'm only kidding.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, the guy looks over at him at the finish line, and he's in the car like this. Irritated.
We're gonna have Eric do it to him at the finish line.
I got it.
The guy's gonna go, so Tim, how was the run?
Yeah.
You got to bring the car to me. I got to fabricate some arms off the side or something.
Uh,
Did you make something, Pete, so I can steer like this, maybe?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Put
No
little
doubt.
V-cuts on the bottom of the steering wheel so you can just reach up with it.
That's right. Yeah, you just move with your legs.
you guys have this much fun every week? I like this.
Pretty much. We try and keep it as light as we possibly could.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we're
Absolutely.
anything if not anywhere near not serious.
I thought you were gonna say normal when I say you're right.
No,
Oh, yeah,
no,
no, that goes without saying.
Yeah, we don't even we can't even spell normal, so no, for
Yeah.
sure.
So, Tim, who helps you out with your race car besides you?
Me, myself, and I. No, actually, my daughter's kind of like my crew chief.
Nice.
Yeah, she's pretty good. And I got a couple friends that help me out of the racetrack. Emilio Giano, you know him, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
My
absolutely.
buddy Rich Yale, Ryan Cacharo. Yeah,
Yep.
they helped me out. We were alone the last two races, my daughter and I, and we did good.
Good.
You know, like I say, the car it's almost like I don't want to say a no maintenance car. I hate to jinx myself, but I bought it last year and it's been a pretty good car.
Is this
Tim,
the
are you-
first year that you've run for points in Ed's series?
Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah.
I want to say it's the first time he's ever run with us, right? This year? You didn't
Yeah.
run this year. No.
No, like I was saying at the beginning of the show, we normally race up at Lebanon Valley. You know, my daughter,
Right.
she runs in Super Pro. She's been through a couple different dragsters, and I told her, I said, the end of last year, you know, I mean, we miss all of our friends up at Lebanon Valley track.
Yeah.
Everybody, you know, we led the track. Everybody that runs it, they're great, but they have nothing for my car. What am I gonna do? Put it in like a test and tune,
No, yeah, right.
or put it
Right.
in Super? You know.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome, you know, and it is a little bit farther, but it's so worth it. It takes us an extra half hour, 40 minutes to get there.
Yeah, when you have class fits the car, it absolutely makes it worth it, without a doubt.
Yeah. And like we were saying before, if we have a race on a Saturday and a race on a Sunday, like you got 2 days of racing and you know, you're gonna get 2 qualifying runs and go into first round same
Right.
day.
Yeah, you could go out, you could bow out on Saturday and still have something to look forward to instead of having to pack your stuff up and
Yeah,
go home.
exactly, you know.
It's true.
What's the minimum weight, Ed, in Top Sportsman up there? Do you have one?
For us, I don't do it. No.
No minimum weight
NHRA is 2450 with nitrous.
with nitrous, 2350 without, right?
I believe it's 2350, yeah, without it.
Yeah,
But
Yes.
we don't enforce that either. The only thing, like I said at the beginning of the show, is safety. We
Right.
enforce the safety part of the NHRA Top Sportsman deal.
yeah. The car's got to
To a
get
point.
teched
Yes,
Car's
if,
got to
if,
get teched every week.
yeah, and if you go, whatever the rule is, you don't need that heavy suit. If you're not running nitrous,
Right,
you can get away with like Mike Sawyer in his regular suit. But actually,
Right,
I
right.
think in NHRA Top Sportsman, they tell you got to have a certain suit. But-
15. Yeah.
Yes, but for us, if you have nitrous, you got to have the suit. If you
Right.
don't have the nitrous, they don't kind of follow it.
yeah, if you're
And then
going
talking about,
if you're going 825 on motor, then you could have the regular 5-layer suit and whatever
Correct.
other rules
yeah,
for that
yeah,
ET.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's 749 or faster for the 15 suit.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But getting back to,
actually,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
if you're running faster and slower than 750, you can get the what is it called? The advanced, not the
Advanced DT.
No,
I think-
not
no.
that. For not to have to be teched every
Oh, the ATI.
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
ETI, yeah, the ETI.
Yeah.
Like my daughter's car, we get her card. She
Right.
goes right to
Well,
the-
actually, in our series up at New England, they'll do that for us. they'll do the-
750, no,
they'll-
not 750 or faster. You got to get it teched every round.
At
faster
New
than
England too?
750 at New England. Yeah, I got to bring my car to the tech guys every time we race.
Oh, he comes to me, so.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you should park next to Ed next time. You'll be all set.
Tim, we'll talk when I see you again.
Yeah.
We'll talk.
Come over. Yeah, I want to get my car teched.
We'll talk. I want to just get back to crew guys real quick, and then I'll
Yep.
shut up because I talk too much. 20 years ago, my accountant, I went to my accountant's and his secretary says, "Oh, are you the guy from Coventry, Rhode Island, races the cars?" Yeah. My son's interested. Really? Yeah. And Tim knows him, Greg. You know the kid Greg that's with us
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
So he comes visit. He goes, "Oh, my mother says you will." He was 20 years old, not even. "Oh, my mother says you could use some help." He's been with us since that day.
Really?
He's helped my brother on the clutch on the Pro Mod. He's still with us. And Tim will see, I'm like King Tut over there. I'm sitting at the chair. Say, I call it the way you see it. I'm sitting in the chair. He's got the car out. He's got it up on the jacks. He does everything. And this kid is phenomenal. And he don't say a word. He is like the best crew guy we've ever had. I don't do nothing. I sit
Wow,
there.
that's funny.
I collect money. I look like King Tut. You know, you come to my table. And,
Maybe you should be like this, Ed.
yeah, you gotta kiss my
Sure.
ring. You pay me and kiss my ring, and then you go in. But we have fun.
Good stuff. Well, listen, guys, and if you have any updates, any news that you want to share with us, any big sponsors that come through, please don't hesitate. Reach out to us. We'd love to have you on again.
I appreciate it. I hope to meet you.
Now,
Yeah,
both of you guys
absolutely.
running
And-
this weekend? Ed, are you guys gonna be there this weekend?
Yeah, both the cars. Yeah.
Tim, you're gonna be there this weekend?
Unfortunately, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to be able to go to that divisional. I wanted to, but I just got so many things going on.
All right. Well, I'll be there on Friday, Ed, so I'll make sure I come by and.
Yeah, I'll
shake
be
your
around. I'm not getting there till Friday either. I gotta work.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll be cruising around on Friday.
Damn priorities, right?
Yeah, no, it's kind of a shame that work always gets in the way. I don't know.
Yeah.
This whole adulting thing sucks.
Yeah, this growing up stuff sucks.
You know, the older you get, the more you get responsible. Because I remember when I was a kid, I'd go to every division in the world. I didn't care. Yeah, close up. Yeah, who cares? And now, like, it's the truth. Now I can kind of afford to do it. And I gotta work.
Yeah, I gotta work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
No doubt.
unfortunately work is definitely gets in the way.
Yeah.
Guys, I really truly appreciate you inviting me. I had a good time. It was nice
Excellent.
meeting everyone. And I'll make sure I tell Ron that I seen Mr. Settles there. And
That's it. Thank you. Sorry for being late too. I had some things I had to take care of, but it was definitely nice meeting you too, and a pleasure talking to you.
all right, man.
Pleasure
Thank
talking
you.
to you.
And
Tim, if you're ever in the neighborhood, stop by the shop.
I will.
Your buddy Vinny will show you right where it is.
Oh yeah. He was telling me the other day. He says, I was talking to Pete. I says, oh yeah, what were you saying? He gave you an earful, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, he is. Oh yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah.
Nice meeting you guys. Thanks again for coming on.
All right,
care,
guys.
guys.
Thank you.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Ed
Thanks for having
Iannotti from the Iannotti Brothers Top Sportsman Series at New England Dragway. Ed, thank you very much. Tim Debaise, Division I Top Sportsman Racer, and also runs in Ed Series. Thank you guys for coming on and hanging out with us.
Thanks
Good
for
luck for
having
the rest
us.
of the year, guys. Stay safe.
Thanks,
Take
thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you all soon.
see you guys.
All right, have a great night, guys.
Take care, man. Bye-bye.
So Pete,
Yes,
Chris,
sir.
how can we ignore the NHRA elephant in the room? I don't know if you guys had something to really talk about, but we gotta talk about
Dun, dun, dun.
the RIP of the burn down.
This is without a doubt poll worthy, in my opinion. I had a discussion with someone on Facebook today, and it was really nice to discuss something that didn't involve politics or a vaccine.
Sure.
A lot of people are saying that NHRA screwed up. They should have taken advantage of the drama. I don't agree with that at all. I think that the fans would have screamed and yelled just as much if that burn down was half the amount of time that it was and they actually ran the round. I think it would have been just as good, if not better. Go ahead, Chris.
Now, do you think the fans would have screamed and hollered because they weren't educated on the past of the burn down, or because they wanted to actually see the race?
I think that it was dramatic and the fans just liked it. I don't know if while they were enjoying it, they were thinking about the past or whatever. I just think that it added drama. It was excessive. And I look at it from a different point of view because I look at it like I'm strapped in a 120-degree car in the burnout box waiting for these two knuckleheads to figure it out and get in. I absolutely think the starter made the right call.
I am 100% not with you.
Yeah, I kind of can tell that.
Well, here's the deal. Here's what I think. I'm not saying that he made the wrong call, nor am I disagreeing that it was excessive. I think the announcer didn't take advantage of it. I think the announcer played it in your situation. He played it negatively. And I think that's what I'm not saying that the starter, Brad Hardy, could hear the announcer, but what I'm saying is NHRA just thrives on these drama. How many times have you seen them, replay John Forrest getting into a fight at the bottom of an Indy years ago, and all these different things, and Warren Johnson and Dave Connolly. I taught that punk a lesson. All this.
Yeah.
Well, if you're gonna thrive on that, if you're gonna promote that, then how are you gonna throw people out for doing it?
So let me ask you a question. What do you think was the proper thing to do there?
Here's where I'm at with it. I think if you go back in history, there's never been two people disqualified for a staging duel. Never. That's the first time in NHRA history, right?
In professional or also sportsman?
I can't say
because
sportsman.
I've heard the reason why I'm asking you that is because I've heard that it has happened in sportsman.
Okay, so maybe it's happened in sportsman.
I can't confirm that, but I've heard that it has happened.
Sure. I think that there should be, so obviously there's no written rule saying that you have to stage first or last or in any amount of time. Okay.
Correct.
Now, what there should be is a 2 warning situation, right? If the starter goes up there and says, all right, go in, that's your first warning.
Right.
If he comes back up there a second time, then there should be a thrown out. It should be a shut him off, right? This is just my opinion. Shut him off. Say, all right, you came here to race. This is your second warning.
Right.
You got 10 seconds to get in when we fire back up, or you're disqualified. That's the way it should be. Because here's my other problem with it. A double disqualification now gives someone a bye. So you think the fans would rather see 2 guys get thrown out and then a single car go down the track, or would they rather see the race and then another race? You're looking at it from that perspective. I'm not saying that you should sit up there for 20 minutes and waste time, but they're probably, I guess, this is setting the precedent, if you will. So I think that from this point forward, there should be some sort of a written rule to say, okay, anything over 3 minutes, it's a 2 warning situation, and you're going to get thrown out after that. If you fire up and then do it again, or something like that. But I just don't see. Part of the problem is, I've defended NHRA. I've gotten in trouble for defending NHRA, but we're fighting for people, people to sit in the stands. We're fighting for racers. You can't throw people out that are paying the race.
So here's my issue. The first thing is you really can't compare it to anything that's happened in the past. Sure. Because even though there's been burn downs, that one was twice as long as anyone I've ever seen. I mean, that was ridiculous how long it was. Now, I agree with you. Go ahead.
No, that's the longest one you've ever seen in NHRA.
Correct. Yes. In the professional categories of NHRA, right?
Okay.
And obviously, you're only going to see it in either pro stock or pro stock bike because a nitro car can't run that long. So this is the only time you're going to see it.
Until I get the top fuel, but go ahead.
There you go. Gerard, why do you need a 700-gallon tank? Don't worry about it.
Trust me.
Yeah. So you really can't go by rules when it's something that happened for the first time. But, and I will say, two things struck me with the situation. First thing is the safety aspect of it. Now, I know Alan Reinhart was talking about they got radiators in them, they can keep them cool. Let me tell you something. There's no way in the world that those cars were cool. They had to have been getting hot. The tires had to have been cooling off. At some point, you're going to get into a safety situation. Okay. My other concern is they both blatantly ignored stern orders from the starter. Now, I know that you said there should be something in the rule book that, warn them once. If you shut off, warn again. But the problem is they never came up with these rules because they never had this situation.
Well, that's not entirely true. If you go back to one of the first famous ones was Warren Johnson and Scott Jeffrey on in Houston, I believe in '93.
Correct. But what was the time limit on that? That wasn't even half of what this one was.
Well, I wouldn't say that. But what happened in that situation is they both got cut off. You know what I'm saying? And then they were allowed to do it again. So there is that precedent that has happened before. So that, and that's, I want to say they twice in pro stock in the past, they've been shut off, backed up. Rick Stewart went and talked to him. Buster Couch the first time went and talked to him and said,
right,
whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then he gave him another shot. Rick Stewart went to Johnson and Conley, shut him, or it might not have been Conley, but it was Johnson and somebody, shut him off.
Yeah.
Talk to him and go. The problem I had with yesterday, I don't know if you saw it live or not, but Brad Hardy, the starter, I've never seen a situation where another person was in the starter's ear.
In like 3 times.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I was
3 times
say.
I saw that. Yeah.
I think that had a lot to do with Brad's decision. I don't think that anyone, like, I don't know the procedure, the protocol, or the, how they work things out, but that was a first, because I can tell you, in all the burn downs of Buster Couch and Rick Stewart, you never saw anybody whisper in Buster's ear. You never saw anybody whisper in Stewart's ear.
Right.
So I think it just seemed like it was a different situation. And one other thing, Chris, I wonder if that was Greg Anderson and Erica Enders, would the same thing happen? Not pulling anything away from Bruno or Mason, but they don't have the star power that Greg Anderson and Erica Enders has. So do they throw them out? I doubt it. So like I said, there's got to be some sort of precedent moving forward, because you like Bruno has tweeted RIP to the burn down. You don't want to kill that out of drag racing. It's gotten to the point where it's already too business. There's no dry hops. There's no long.
Yeah.
You can't kill all the excitement.
I don't agree with RIP to the burn down. I agree with RIP to stupidity, because to me, that was just, I would love to know, we're going to have to do some research on this. I would love to know how much longer that one was compared to any other one that ever happened. I'm going to say it's twice as long.
I'll do some research, but I can tell you that about 3 years ago in the PDRA race. Now, again, this is an HRA, but Dobbins and John Placino, I believe, they had the longest burn down I've ever seen. It was 7 or 8 minutes. No one knows how they didn't run out of fuel. And PDRA a few years before that, Doug Kirk and another guy had a stage and duel that was longer than all of the NHRA ones combined, I believe.
Really?
So Yeah, it's not. Now, you said something about a safety aspect. I disagree with that to a certain extent. Would you end up getting into a overheating situation? Yeah. At that point, no. They run those cars so cold. They're not that time there wasn't enough to get them hot.
Do you know how big a fuel tank is on a Pro Stock car?
It's only about 2 gallons, 2.5.
2 gallons.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you a question. Think there's any jeopardy of them running into a lean situation because they're running out of fuel after idling that long?
Well,
Okay. Now I'm asking you this because we have time to process it, but
right, yeah, but
these things
also,
that are going through the starter's head on the line.
No, I got you there. I still, if they were still running 2 big 4-barrel carburetors on racing gasoline, I might agree with you. They're on fuel injection. I guarantee they're not burning as much fuel island as they used to, in my opinion. I don't know that for a fact, but
Right.
it's fuel injection. Fuel injection better than I do. The other thing is the whole tires getting cold. How many times have we seen somebody do burnouts? They back them up, something happens at the bottom end, shut them off. You need to do a burnout? No. You need to do a burnout? No. And they go down with no problem. I'm not saying that happens in Pro Stock all the time.
Right. I see it happen in Super Comp or Super Street, but
right. But again, the tracks are prepped, the suspension. A burnout really is not about heating a tire up. You know that. It's about cleaning
it off.
Yeah. So, again, I'm not trying to make excuses saying that they would never run into a safety situation. I'm just not going to put that into this situation. I don't think they sat there that long. It was a long time, but I'm telling you, go. I'll even find the links and send it to you. Like the PDRA burn down a few years ago was. I'm the type of guy, I love them. Sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
Dobbins and Placino, the PDRA Extreme Pro Stock burn down was 4 minutes long.
Okay.
How long was yesterday's?
It seemed longer than that.
3.
Yesterday's was 3.
Okay.
And what's the big one before this? Was it Johnson Jeffrey on?
Johnson and Jeffrey on.
No.
And how long was that one?
No, there was
that one. I'd have to look that up. But the one thing I do want to say, which Jerron talked about, mentioned a few minutes ago, was, again, yes, we're going back in the day, but if somebody ever got in Buster Couch's ear and said whatever was said,
Right.
we all know damn well he'd reach back and biff him and say, "Get out of my space! You don't tell me what to do. This is
right.
This is my house."
Yep. Yeah. Rick Stewart the same way. There was one other longer burn down before or after or since this one. That was Conley and Warren Johnson in Denver around 2003 or 4. And again, they weren't. I want to say I know it was up to about 3 minutes, and they let them sit there. I believe that would have been the late great Mark
Lyle.
Mark Lyle, who had that burn down, and he let him play. I just, I had a burn down in Vandermeer, and there was a Division 5 starter there. I'm not sure who it was, and he was getting pretty upset. And I didn't like that he was getting upset. He kind of forced our hand, and I don't like that. I don't care about staging first or last, but here's how I am. If I've got a second or so, I'm going to sit there and take it all in. And if I see somebody's like, okay, this guy doesn't want to go in, now I want to play with him because you let me know that you want to go in last. So, all right, well, who's going to be the bigger butthole? More likely me. So, I'm going to sit there.
So
I don't see anything wrong with that.
My biggest issue isn't one. My biggest issue is what happens when 2 pairs behind them decide they're going to do the same thing, or 3 pairs behind them. I mean, it gets ridiculous after a while.
Well, but okay, but that's a situation that's probably not going to happen because although I believe most people like to see it, except Pete, except you, most people are not going to get into that situation. You know what I mean? Not going to put them. So you've got to be pretty bullheaded, and to do that. I mean, I know for a fact, like years ago, I tried to have a staging duel with Jackie in a $20,000 bracket race. He wouldn't do it. He just went in. I'm like, wow, all right, So you've got to have two people on the same idiotic scale,
hard-headed scale. Yeah.
right. But with that being said, there should be that in drag racing. I just, and this is my opinion. I'm not saying that I'm right and it's whatever, but we've already taken away so much stuff from racing. I mean, we don't shift anymore. we don't, you know what I mean? Most of the people don't even mat it to the floor. There's a, system that puts it to the floor for them. So
that's actually not entirely true. Carly Wolfe won Super Street at Rob Keister's race. And not only does she shift, but it's a 3-speed.
Wow. I like
that's
it.
pretty impressive.
Yeah,
when she told me that, I was like, all right.
That's very impressive.
But I'm just good.
I'm just saying, if you were to go back through even the obviously the Sportsman ranks, so you have more pairs, more cars, more classes. But when was the last time you saw a staging duel? In Super Street. When was the last time you got held up? So it's not an every race occurrence.
What do you got, Chris?
All right.
I just don't feel like you should be penalized.
So with Warren Johnson and Scott Jeffrey on, it was roughly a minute and a half before Buster Couch stepped in, backed him up. So altogether, I'm cruising through, I'm warp speeding through the video.
Like I said, about half.
Yeah, but
I think the starter gave them more than enough time to figure it out. Just my opinion.
I get that, but so you think they made the right call by
I absolutely do. Yeah.
By throwing them out though? Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, it's interesting. I just don't feel like we need to be throwing anybody out for something that isn't outright.
I will tell you that I've seen 2, I don't want to see interviews, but reactions to drivers that were behind them in line, and they both agreed that it was stupid and they're there to race. Like I said, I love the burn down, John. I'm not going to say I don't. Okay. Sure. But when it gets to, the starter, I would have to go back to confirm, but I want to say he did 2 waves at 2 separate times. And then he went up there and got in each one of their windows and said, get up there. Listen, at that point, stage the freaking car. After 3 minutes, enough is enough.
Yeah.
And you can't let them go to the back of the line because they were the first 2 out. So that's their disadvantage for not qualifying the way they should. If they set a precedence with them going to the back of the line, then every 8 and 9 qualifier until the end of history is going to do that.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, there definitely shouldn't be that. I just, to me, I think the one big situation that needs to be taken into consideration is with, it was Warren Johnson and Scott Jeffrey on, the 2 biggest at the time. It was Warren Johnson and Dave Conley. Would that have happened with Erica Anderson and Greg Anderson? And
I mean, that's a hypothetical thing, and all you could do is guess, but I tend to lean your way a little bit on that. I don't know if 2 superpowers would have gotten thrown out.
Yeah, I
will never know.
I would bet no. There's no way in the world they would have done that. And,
what do you
and
got,
again, so that's again, it's all opinion. It's all, like I said, hypothetical thinking, but it's got to be taken into consideration. I just think from this point on, there should, we know that cut and dry, if you red light and then somebody crosses the center line,
right,
you're back in. We know if you hit the wall, you're out.
You want to bet there'll be a rule that comes out?
But there should be. There honestly should be. That way we don't run into this problem with the mad driver. If a driver knows that he's going to get 1 warning and get thrown out, then all right, okay. If he knows he's going to get 2 warnings, whatever. If he knows that you're going to be given a certain amount of time, that's just the way it should be.
What do you got, Chris?
All right, so the 2 times Buster shut him off one time, backed him up. It was about a minute and a half in.
Yeah.
They did whatever they did, came back in. It was about another 2 minutes. So roughly 3 to 3.5 minutes combined.
Wow, they did it again
did it
after
again.
Buster shut him down.
Exactly.
They
Yeah,
need to
and
get
they-
thrown out.
but-
I'm sorry.
Now,
They need to
that
get
was-
thrown out.
That
But they
was
didn't.
WJ and Jeffrey on.
But they didn't get thrown out, and that's the point I'm trying to make, because they were superstars. It was racing. Like, you know, I just don't agree with it, especially in this time and, you know, an era where we need everybody we can get to go racing. You know, that's
Well,
to me. It's
different
just
kind of fan base. Back again, we're going, you know, back in the day, we're doing the back in the day game.
Right.
It was a different type of fan back
Sure.
in the day than what there is now.
Well, yeah. I mean, I just feel like, you know, there's got to be a precedence. You know, and you know, it to me, the other thing negative it does, it gives the NHRA bashers some more ammo. You know. Oh,
Hey, here's an interesting question for you, both of you. When it happened with WJ and Jeffrey on, or I don't know if it was with Jeffrey on or Colony, one or the other. When they got, what sticks out in your head the most about that whole situation?
the bottom end interview after the race.
They were
We
just
didn't-
about ready to go.
We didn't get to have that.
because they
because-
got thrown out.
Well, you could look at it that way, or you could look at it as neither one of these knuckleheads staged. Listen, after 2 minutes, all right, the crowd is already wound up tighter than a drum. All right, they're already freaking out. They're already cheering. After 2 minutes, get in, race, and let's hear what you got to say at the other end.
Yeah.
To me, we got shortchanged out of that. And
Absolutely.
you could do 50-50 because they're idiots and they didn't go in, or because they got thrown out. You could blame it on whatever you want. But
Yeah.
we got shortchanged out of that, because I would have loved to have seen those two cars go down the track and then see what was said at the end. Instead of talking trash about each other, they were both in disbelief. They got thrown out, and it turned out to be as anticlimactic as it gets.
Yeah. That was an NHRA ball dropper.
Now, nothing against Bruno Massel at all, but would it have been a PC interview if they got to race and with him being an NHRA employee?
It wouldn't have to be.
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been.
Well,
I think
see, he had to be very careful about what he said about NHRA's decision to DQ him.
Right.
But
No,
if
I'm
he
saying
got
if they
out,
got a chance to race.
that's what I'm saying. If he got
Right.
out of it, he goes, yeah, I don't know who this kid is or who he thinks he is, but if I'm going in last, I'm going in last. That's not going to be a stain on him. I don't
Right.
think.
Yeah, he's not gonna, I mean, you know, nobody's gonna be mad after, I mean, you're gonna be mad, but what I'm saying is they're mad because they didn't get a chance to race. It wasn't even they didn't get a chance to do that. But yeah, at the bottom end, yeah, we were shortchanged on that. I feel like,
Right.
you know, again, it's a situation, you know, there could have been a situation where they let him race. And then, you know what? All right, well, we're going to deduct points from both of you after the race, but let them race.
Right.
You know what I mean? Again, now you've got a bye run the next round. Who wants to see that?
No, I agree. Oh, I totally agree with that. It sucked. NHRA has to set a standard so that they don't lose 2 hours to burn downs.
Sure.
Okay. But they also have to appeal to the people in the stands. So it's one of those things where, and again, we've had 24 hours plus to analyze this and say what they should have done. You know, it's a typical Monday morning quarterback, or now we're Monday morning drag racers, but Monday night drag racers.
It's Monday night.
But yeah, it's tough to. I totally understand. Bruno said RIP to the burn down, but you know what? You're going to go watch Pro Stock at the next race, and you're probably going to see 8 rounds of racing in like a minute and a half, because they're all going to get in and they're all going to go, and they perform how they perform.
But you know that, and that's a shame in my opinion. You know, I wanna go to watch the next race and see somebody go up there and do a burn and have a burnout. You know, why not? It goes back to when Steve Torrance, you know, and Cameron Ferre had their issue in Top Fuel. You know, Cameron went in deep on him. He didn't like it. You know, at the very next race, whoever ran Steve first round should have went in deep on him.
Right.
Let's if we're gonna have some fun, let's have some fun.
Yeah.
I'm just that type of guy.
Yep.
You know, people either love me or hate me. We know that, but that's how I am. See, everybody loves Pete, so you know, because he's just gonna be like.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I'm right on the fence with you. I don't know which one it is.
Now, I will say this. I don't know. I honestly do not know if it was a video from this year or last year, but somebody from the PDRA race, it was the Extreme Pro Stock class, they were having a staging duel. You know, the starter did his thing, sat there, took the controller, set it down on the ground, and just stood there. A couple minutes later, somebody brought a cooler out for him to sit on, and he just sat there. It was like, all right, boys, do your thing.
And see, you know, that brings up a good point, because let's say I'm the starter, you know, because I need to be just as bonehead as the drivers.
I know. I already know what you're gonna say.
Well, my thing is, okay, I'm gonna let you sit there, and then when you finally do go in, you're gonna sit there.
I'm gonna let you sit there a little longer.
Yeah, exactly. To me, that's what should happen. You know.
Right.
So because then what happens then? You let them sit there. Now they're burning fuel. They've already burned a bunch of fuel, right? Now they go to leave and both of them run out of gas. Now they got to get out and push them to the finish line. That's drag racing. That's excitement. That's
Ricky Bobby.
In the stands.
That's drag racing. The problem is, if God forbid one of them kicks a rod out and gets hurt, that's the fine line that you walk.
They've got pans on them from rooter to the cooter. They ain't gonna put on the freaking and we're talking about. Look,
you've been hanging around down in Florida too much. Rooter to the cooter. What the hell's the matter with you?
It's a southern thing. You wouldn't
and we're
understand.
not talking about. I have been in Florida way too long.
Yeah.
I'll be on a plane in a few hours headed back to Maryland. But look, we're not talking about, you know, somebody's basement built 396 here. All right. We're talking about the most sophisticated motors in all of drag racing. So hang around
that aren't used to running 15 minutes before they actually leave the starting line.
Well, but I wouldn't. And here's again, and maybe I've been around a little bit deeper than most, but if you've ever seen a pro stock test session, like a you know, undisclosed pro stock test session, they will do burnouts. They will leave the starting line and not like it, push the clutch and hit the brakes and back up and try it again.
Really?
2 or 3 times, yeah. That's happened a lot. So again, those cars are a lot tougher than you think. I just again, I'm not trying to you know, take any emphasis off safety. That's not my point here.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I think, like you said, we were cheated, and I think those cars are well capable of doing what they did and still, you know, I mean, think about what I said. Think about both of them running out of fuel at the 60-foot mark, and what that would have been on every news, Fox station, you know, News Channel 13, these 2 pro stock drivers pushing their cars to the finish line, because that's in the rule. You have to make it to the finish line under power.
Right.
So both of them run out of fuel. I mean, I want to see that. You wouldn't want to see that? You wouldn't want to see big Bruno trying to throw his car through the finish line, and you know, let's say you know Mason's you know, kind of a small guy or whatever. He ran out of fuel after Bruno, so Bruno's got to catch him. Well, Bruno's in shape. He's a big guy. Now it's like a cop eliminator race. You know, he's got to run down Mason pushing his car. They've got ceramic bearings.
Who's going to run the index? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel a stroke coming on since I said that.
Oh my God. I gotta take Chris to a national event, sit him in the stands, and explain comp eliminator. It is the most simple.
I will pass out.
It's simple, Pete. I mean,
Listen,
Chris, I'm telling you. To be honest with you,
Rich has been running it for 2 years. I went to 2 races last year with him and figured it out. So if I can figure it out, it's not
Yeah.
hard.
It's not very difficult at all. It really is, and it's pretty simple. Explaining super comp is probably more difficult than explaining comp eliminator.
The only thing you got to be good with comp eliminator is math quick.
Yeah,
Because when they go over, you want to figure out if they took personal hit or not.
right.
You got to
exactly.
start
See, that's where I get
shoes
lost.
off and
I get
counting
lost
toes
on
to
the
figure it out.
personal-
Sure,
the
yeah.
personal index is where I really,
Right.
I get lost on that.
It's and that's pretty easy too. You just have to separate the two, personal from class. It's not that difficult.
What's personal? Six in class is 7 or something like that.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
Right.
it
Yeah.
might class might be more than that. I think.
And then you got mine shaft, which they
Right.
also have in stock and super stock too. So
Yeah,
that's
exactly. And but that's
That's
kind
more
of
than, that's half the field running, what is it, 120?
I think
No.
just no.
80,
it's just-
or so 70 or 80. If half
That's
the
it.
class is
Yeah, in comp, but that's also a situation that happens maybe once or twice a year.
correct, it's either an early spring or late fall, and you're going to get it. And
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
when Rich let it all hang out. You were at the race, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
They declared it mine shaft before his run. And
Yeah.
then he made a pass and went like 93 under,
Oh,
and everyone had a freaking heart attack.
It was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. You actually, if it was quiet, you would have heard Jaws hit the ground.
No, for sure.
All right, let's get to some results.
Okay, we're gonna fire through this quickly, not
Yep,
to bore everybody.
let's start with the Mid-Atlantic .90 series.
We can do that too. Hold on one sec. Gotta bring it up on the phone.
I'm pretty sure we've already bored everybody talking about burn downs.
Most likely,
Yeah.
Okay, Rob Keister's race. He had race number 6 and 7 for the year. I'm just scrolling through here quick. Saturday's race for Super Comp. Number 1 qualifier was Jeff Livesey, and winner of the race was Bill Hardiford Jr.
Yep.
Went in 891 with a 7, and Kara Stein was runner-up. For Super Gas, number 1 qualifier, Ron Ross. Winner was Hank Smith, and he took out Iggy Bachesco. Super Street, number 1 qualifier was Greg Kelly, and the guest that we had earlier today, it says, oh, okay, Carly Wolfe. So it says Carrie Wolfe, but Carly Wolfe, Scott Lang. That brings us to Sunday, race number 7, Super Comp. There were 36 cars in the class. Number 1 qualifier was Tom Slater. Walter Alt defeated Doug Dahl Jr. In Super Gas, number 1 was Hank Smith. And Rick Homan broke the beams and took the win because Hank Smith couldn't make the call for the final round. For Super Street, number 1 qualifier was Frank Volpe III. And the winner of the race was Rick Mattioli. And he defeated Dom Bergese, as Dom left a little bit too early and went 6th out red.
All right. Our friends in the north, since they still can't cross the border, were able to have a national open at Napierville. It was a 2-day race. My buddy Lewis Gill won both days, so he got 2 Wallies this weekend. He runs that red Chevy Cavalier Super Stocker with the white stripes on it. I'm sure you've seen that, Pete. So that was up in Napierville. Hopefully our friends will be able to cross the border soon. The national event in Topeka this weekend. Top Fuel, Brittany Force over Clay Milliken. Top Fuel, Funny Car, excuse me, John Force over J.R. Todd. So they said that was the first time, I don't think it's right, but they said it's the first time father-daughter have won 2 different classes in one event. I thought maybe Ashley won a weekend event with her dad too.
She did. No, they said it was the first time that Brittany and John had.
Oh,
Brittany and John, right? Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
John and Ashley won in alcohol dragster and funny car years ago.
And I just want to throw a little something in there. The last national event that we came on, we asked for predictions as to who was going to win. And I said it was going to be an all-four sweep. I missed it by one race.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
I was close. Yeah, no, means absolutely nothing, but I figured I'd say it anyway.
Sort of like you were missing on the day they were giving out height.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. And you talent. Yeah, I know. So I don't know what happened to our fearless leader, but we'll move into the .90 stuff.
I will.
For Topeka. What happened?
I don't know. I was gonna do the same thing. I was gonna do it. Yeah, are you gonna read it or?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, I'll go. Chris, hang in there. We're gonna do .90 quick for Topeka. Super Comp. Austin Williams defeats Christopher Dodd. Talk to us, John. Got any scoop on them?
yeah, that was like a race of heavyweights. I mean, you know, Sean Dodd's the current Super Comp world champion. Austin Williams, a former world champion, and I mean that just to have those two in the final.
Like a coin flip as to who's going to win that one, right?
Pretty much Austin had a plan to kind of set up a little fast, and I think Christopher tried to foil that plan by not being as fast as Austin did, but Austin was able to pretty much seal it on the start line. It was 009 and gave it about 3 or 4 rips halfway through, and they both went 94s, but Austin was in front of them. Because I mean, Austin killed probably 7 or 8 mile an hour easily, and Christopher was killed about 5, I think, from looking at his finish line speed. But it was definitely there were some heavy hitters in that entire race though. Landon Stahlbummer, Garrett Stinnett, Trini Casone. It was a powerhouse Super Comp field.
All right, Pete, just pick me up where you left off. Sorry about that. My computer shut off.
Okay, I got one more here quick. Super Street was not contested in Topeka, so that leaves us with Super Gas, where Colin Baker defeated Jaron, not Jaron, Jaron Miller. Colin went dead one, and this was his first national event win.
Yeah, watching that race, I was listening to it while I was working, and I kept thinking they were calling me. I was like, Jaron.
Yeah, I'm not right. That's usually how they screw up your actual name, right?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm finally gonna win a race, and I'm not even there. That's pretty cool.
Not even the same class.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty cool. But, yeah. But yeah, that was definitely a good race. 005 red on for Jaron, but they'll catch him again. It was a couple first time winners there, so Topeka was pretty cool.
Yep. All right, so on to you with Pro Stock there, Handsome.
All right, Pro Stock, Dallas Glenn over Kyle Koretsky. Did you already get the alcohol cards?
Nope.
All right, Top Alcohol Dragster, Rachel Meyer over Jasmine Salinas. Jasmine fouled. She went red. This is Rachel's 4th national event, Wally. Now, you were talking about a lot of multi-time winners and first-time winners.
Yep.
Sean Bellamore and Top Alcohol Funny Car, 23rd national event, Wally. 3rd this season, 2nd in Topeka. And go ahead, Dron.
No, I was just gonna say the alcohol classes. There weren't many cars there in either class, but it was some tough hitters there. It was some good racing. Jasmine, I think, was favored to win. I'm not gonna say favorite to win that final, but I think everybody thought it was her day. She'd been low each round, but I think the nerves got to her in the final. She'd never been there, national final. But to bounce back from flipping a car into a ran at Gainesville over the wall to, getting a new car just a few weeks ago, winning the Norwalk Divisional, and then going to a final here, that's saying something for Team Scrappers. And Sean Bellamere, his car is owned by a former Division I standout, Tony Bartone. I think Bartone was tuning from the phone this weekend, but yeah, Sean's I think he finished number 2 last year. Doug Gordon took the world championship from him. He was the world champion in 2019.
All right, and I know you already got comp eliminator, but the winner, Greg Camplain, this was his 10th national event Wally. Factory Stock Showdown, John Sorbonne over Leah Pruitt. His first national event Wally and his first ever final round. Super Stock, another first time winner, Wyatt Wagner over Justin Lamb. Justin Lamb got beat by our guest a couple weeks ago too, didn't he, John?
Yeah, Shelby beat him with his own car, with his own old car in the finals in Sonoma. But
Has Justin hit the winner's circle yet this year?
it's been a tough year for Justin. I think he got a win earlier this year, but that's it. But that was it's only like the second or third race for that car he run it up in here this weekend. So he's getting the bugs worked out of it. Wyatt drove great, took out Anthony Bertozzi, took out Brad Burton, took out Wyatt was on a mission, and if anyone's ever seen Wyatt's car, it is probably one of the most beautiful 68 Camaros in Superstock, and that's saying something because there are a lot of beautiful Camaros in Superstock. But that was. But Justin's day is coming with that Copa for sure.
Outstanding. Stock eliminator, Chris Knudsen over Randy Lynn Ship. Randy lit the cherry, as Pete likes to say.
Yeah.
Knudsen with a great light for the win, wins his second national event Wally. Sorry, John, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, Chris Knudsen is dropping the clutch too, so that always gets me a little bit happier because I'm a clutch guy. He was like 0-0 in it to death in eliminations, and he is the reigning Brainerd stock champion. So when they go to Brainerd this weekend, he's looking to double up, and it was good to see Randy back in NHRA. They had took a break from NHRA and ran some bracket races and stuff, but for her first national event in this year to go to finals said something for her.
All right, Top Sportsman presented by Vortex Superchargers. Dusty Meyer driving a Chevy S10 over Kyle Firestone in a Chevy Bel Air. This is Dusty's 5th national event Wally. Top Dragster, again presented by Vortex Superchargers. Danny Nelson over Preston Dean. This is Danny's 6th national event Wally. So that wraps up the national event from Topeka. Go ahead, John.
No, I was going to say Danny Nelson is probably the baddest old guy, or one of the baddest old guys behind the wheels of a race car. He builds them. Took out Anthony Bertozzi, I think, in the semis or maybe the quarters, but he's a 2-time Top Dragster world champion, I believe, and looking to go right back in the lead in the points this year.
Absolutely. All right, so moving on to PDRA. I was at Maple Grove this past weekend. Pro Nitrous, Mike Oschenbeck took the win over a Brandon Switzer-tuned, Buck-powered 69 Camaro driven by Ed Burnley. Congratulations.
Maryland-based Ed Burnley.
Oh, from your home state, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Achenbach was running good. I think a lot of people thought it was going to be Burnley's day finally. He was running good. I think he ran low ET for the race in the final, but was a little bit late. Everybody was pointing after Tommy Franklin got beat and Jim Halsey, Burnley took out Halsey. Everybody was like, well, it's gonna be a newcomer. And Rob Honeycutt, I think he went red the semifinals. He had a good car. Should have been 2 Maryland cars in the final, Honeycutt and Burnley, but Achenbach did a great job, and that's a beautiful purple 69 Camaro.
Absolutely. 2-time Pro Boost world champion Kevin Rivenbark rolled into the Northern Nationals with a huge points lead in his Pro Charger boosted Galat Motorsport 69 Camaro. That's another gorgeous looking 69 Camaro. Took the win over former teammate Todd Tutterow in a rematch of the summer shootout final.
Yeah, Todd's a tough guy in Pro Boost. I mean, he pretty much owns the blower setups over there, and they do really well in like the quick eight, the Southern quick eight series. So he's got a lot of eighth mile experience, a lot of like rough track experience. So when he's on a good track, look out. So that was a good final. And I'm pretty sure Rivenbark's car is even tuned by Totoro. So that's saying something for Totoro.
Absolutely. All right, Extreme Pro Stock, JR Carr over Chris Powers. But the race is over at the starting line when Powers went 006 red. So Carr just kind of let the clutch out and hit a 218 light and just kind of motored down the track and took the win. So congratulations.
Yeah, good job for JR. That's a good team over there. They always have a fast car, but JR struggles on race day. So good to see him get a win.
All right, Pro Outlaw 632. Pro Outlaw 632 points leader, defending world champion Wes DiStefano defeated two-time world champion Dylan Boss out of where you are right now in Florida. So this is his third PDRA victory of the season.
Yeah, DiStefano is a tough guy, and even Voss. Though Voss is out of Florida, and I'm pretty sure I know Voss is a clutch car, but I'm not sure about DiStefano's. But that's a tough class there. I know everybody's favorite Camry Caruso is in that class. I think she won one round or two or whatever. So that's a pretty cool class. That's a class that Pete could run with his Vega. Possibly.
Yeah.
Can you see your car with a nitrous fed 632 and a Liberty?
Sure. I wouldn't drive it, but I could see it.
You can visualize it in it, right?
I could see it pulling into a cruise night.
That's you look after you make an exciting pass, and I'll meet you at the bottom, man, and I'll open the door and say, "But did you die?" You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, almost.
And an hour and a half later, he's able to answer you after.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Pro Street points leader Tim Essick qualified number 2, but had the car to be in Pro Street eliminations. He had to battle first time number 1 qualifier Nick Schroeder in the final round. Essick and his Pro Charger boosted brown sugar 2018 Mustang took the lead and carried it out the top end to finish ahead of Schroeder. So congratulations to Tim Essick.
This is just proof that Maryland has, some of the best racers on the planet, because Brown Sugar lives right near me, is kept right near me. So Tim has always had a bunch of fast Pro Charger cars, a turbocharged car before, but Tim is an interesting guy. He built that car, built the motor, and painted it, and it's a beautiful freaking car. Essex is a really talented guy.
We're not done with Maryland racers yet either.
That's right.
Got more?
Yeah.
Well, it helps when you have a race 5 feet away from Maryland. That's,
But we'll throw the Ohio Spuds conversion in here. A pair of Ohioans met in elite top sportsman final round. Steve Drongowski and Tim Moeller paired up in their nitrous-fed race cars. Drongowski got the starting line advantage in his Chris Reaney tuned buck-powered 55 Chevy to take the win over Molnar and his 68 Camaro, who broke out with a 387 with a 2 on a 388 dial.
I just got to say, that's some fast bracket racing right there.
Yeah,
that's
380s and you're hitting the brakes. Oh my God.
That is just impressive to me. Yeah, for sure.
Brakes, 5 parachutes.
I'm not sure there's too much brake pedal hitting, but you never know. You get a bonehead like me in there, you're gonna
yeah. Look, if John can give it back to Top Sportsman. He's all right.
There you go.
I think I've fixed my giving it back problem. So we'll see in Phoenix in a few weeks. I'm feeling pretty good about that.
I'm not going to give it back. He's going to run 740. I told you I wasn't giving it back.
Well, that's what happened at Pomona. I went 889.5 to an 889.6. I didn't give it back. I took
That's
a look,
right.
but I didn't give it back.
That happens.
All right. Final class, the last of the Maryland Racing Brigade. top alcohol funny car star DJ Cox from Division One won Elite Top Dragster, adding to his recent top alcohol funny cars 2 recent NHRA top alcohol funny car wins. He defeated CJ Morley, who went red, a 001 red, negating a 404 on a 404 dial. So Cox posted a 22 on a 19 dial, but DJ, one of the best drivers in Division One, again, alcohol funny car champ, and perennial contender to win everywhere he goes.
And he's from Maryland.
Bel Air, I think he's from Bel Air, Maryland, if I remember right. So I was joking around with his girlfriend last night on Facebook. I'm like, well, good thing you guys won all those raffles.
I'm gonna do the Tim. From now on, this is gonna be the TD.
Exactly.
And he won more money in this one race than he would winning 2 alcohol funny car races.
Yeah.
No, there's no negativity in Racers News Network. All right, we're not going to
negativity in every 3rd or 4th word.
Yeah, exactly. And proud of it, damn it.
We're not gonna bash another organization just
No,
because.
we're not bashing. We're just stating a fact.
Yeah. Money's money.
We
Kind of like Maryland has the drag racers and Connecticut has the pizza. It is what it is.
And the Fox on Woods Park,
Oxford Park.
Fox and Park cream soda.
And Florida has the guy whose voice goes squeaky.
Yeah, what the hell happened there?
I was squeaky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you sound like a Tin Man.
Wait until you watch this tomorrow.
I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
There you go. That's better.
All right, I gotta go because this is way too long and I'm tired.
Yeah, I literally.
Yeah, Pete's got to be in bed in 15 minutes.
That
Yeah,
long?
It's
Man.
I'm about to say it's almost.
Like I
past-
always say, it's about 9:15 when you got to go to bed.
Yeah.
So,
So,
yeah. So, well, look, my apologies for being late again. I had better things to do, but I had a good time.
wait a minute, better things to do?
Jerron, the good news is we really don't need you for the show, so it doesn't matter.
I'm here for the.
He said that, not me. He said it, not me.
I'm here for the comic release.
Oh, listen, his testicle just dropped. He got his voice back.
Jeez, I don't know what happened.
And now it went back up again.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna go jump on a plane and head back to the state with the best racers. And yeah, I'll see you guys next Monday.
Hey, Jerron, just so you know, the key's under the floor mat when you get home.
as long as you paid some bills while you're
On that note, travel safe.
Yep. Have a good flight.
I'll see you
Toodaloo.
later.
All right, joining us next week will be Kelly Wade is going to be our guest, and she has no idea what she's getting herself into, but that's
That's
okay.
all right.
Absolutely not. Well, thanks for having me on once again, and we will see you guys next week.
All right, have a great night. If you're racing this weekend, stay safe, have fun, and get some win lights.